Hello, my name is Diego Hernandez, and I'm going to show you how do I draw supply and demand zones. So right now we are looking at ES, SPY, well, futures of SPY, and I'm on a daily. And as far as I don't see any zones that are near price action as right now. So how do we find zones? How do we find a demand zone or a supply zone? Well, in order to find a supply zone, there's this thing called peaks, valleys, and then the continuation patterns. The peaks refers to the top of the area where price turns to the downside after a move up. Better example. This could be an example of a peak, move up, last bullish candle right here, boom, and then look at the drop. So this could be a well-known area for supply and demand, or for supply. Interesting. And peaks are become areas of supply and are created by a rally-based drop formation. So we rally, we base up right here. Since this is the last bullish candle, it is a basing candle as well. And we drop. Would you look at that drop? Interesting. And then these past few days, we rallied up from demand. Right here, look. Rally base rally. Beautiful basing candle right here. Bounced right off demand on Monday, I believe. Anyways, look at that. Bouncing right off demand. So what we gotta look for right now is how do I find my supply and demand zones. So as all I can see right now is, yeah, we smashed through some supply zones already. But we're in 4 hour, right? Let's go to the 2 hour now. See what we find in 2 hour. Oh wow. Okay, considering taking out my volume bar already. There you go. Alright, look. Where can we find a supply zone? This was previously a supply zone, but obviously we smashed it. Look. See that rally and then the base and then the drop? That's what you gotta look for when drawing supply zones at least. And I tested it yesterday. Rejected. Look. Easy supply zone right here. But unfortunately, it got smashed through it. Look, well, not smashed, but it got broken at the end of the day. But look at that. It's an obvious key rejection of supply right here. Because of this basing candle and with the rejection of right here. This is what you call a rally base drop. Rally base drop. Old zones really work though, if I'm being honest. The new zones, current form zones, are way more important than the older ones. And as you should know, the older it gets, the weaker it becomes almost. Alright, and how do I find demand zones? Alright, well, let's go. We're in the 2 hour. We found a supply zone that possibly got broken into already, or broken above already. Let's look at the hourly. Oh, this is a demand zone right here. Rally, base, rally. And then we kept going higher. We kept going higher. I'm gonna mark that. This is also a 1 hour zone. change the supply zone as well. So what I used to do is mark them by the time date, but honestly I've grown out of that already and just write down demand imbalance. Boom, boom, right there. We bounced the lowest from here and then we boom. Look at that. From 4200 to 4338. Oh no, 4336, yeah. It's a nice demand and supply zone bounce. Alright, but I think we have more demand zones to find, alright. But as you can see, we have that rally base rally technique right there. And it's a continuation pattern, which is controlled by bulls, or if it's a drop base drop, it is controlled by sellers. It did just form a area of the band that is soon to be traded, soon to be tested, but thing is, we don't know when. Alright, fix this rectangle. 75, 76, 74, I don't care. Alright, so we found the demand zone. Oh, my bad. Let me edit this name to supply imbalance. Change this. Gotta get disrupted there, but alright, as you can see though, how I drew the supply imbalance on the 2 hour. It could be also on the hourly, doesn't matter. Right here, boom, little rally and then the base, and we drop. There's another example over here. We rallied, base, and we dropped. Here we are right now. So I don't care about last week's or 2 weeks ago. I'm looking at the now. So we're at the 1 hour night. Let's look at the 45-minute now. Looking for demand zones, supply zones above this. Demand zone for around this price area. So from the 45-minute, I do not see nothing. That built yesterday intraday. This could be a supply zone over here. Yeah, this is perfect right here. This is another supply zone right here. You see how we had the rally and the basing? This is the basing candle right here. The rally, base, and then the drop. Retested it, and then we dropped. And then, as you can see, this was built. This supply zone was built. It's called after hours. So, but you still mark it on the NES. Tested this supply zone as well that formed after hours and was rejecting. Boom. Cool. Alright, let me just edit this real quick. Or let me add the rectangle. Oh man. It took me all the way back. Hold on. Oh, that's kind of annoying. I'm gonna figure it out, don't worry. There's that. There it is. That's the next supply zone coming in. That's going to come intraday. That was built on the 45-minute. Alright, let me edit I'll go back to it right now as well to show you more in case you didn't see on how it was made. Supply and balance. Boom, boom. Show name, do not show names. It's preference at the end of the day. And then you even gotta shape your rectangles as well, but I like to. 75. On the hour, you can't build a. I mean, yeah, you can, but it's just that just does not look like a basic kind of me. That's a full rally. All right, so that was it for 45 minutes on the supply zone. Let's see if we find a demand zone with it. Oh wait, we didn't. This could be another demand zone right here. 4220. Boom. But I don't mark any demand zones. More demand zones if there's already one overlapping over it. So that's that. Get that out of the way already. So we're in the 30-minute now. Okay, so this would be an example. Prime example of drop based drop. This was during FOMC yesterday. This was around 12:30, 1. Powell spoke at 1 my time, 2 Eastern. So we had this drop based drop, but look, buyers came in aggressively, as you can see we bounced. We were rejecting supply at first, and we bounced ridiculously. Honestly, I was low key thinking we were gonna drop with a 0.25 BPS rate hike. I thought we were gonna drop, but everything's priced in now. Alright, look, this is an example of a demand zone right here on the 15-minute. This is the last time frame. I check my zones. Boom. It's already bouncing, as you can see. Boom. We're already bouncing off this level. I started demand imbalance. If you want, you can put 15-minute demand zone and then 30-minute and then just name them. That's what I used to do, at least when I started off this. Rectangle. Alright, I'll be back again. Alright, I'm back. My bad. Yeah, it's not going to be a single edit on this video. I don't see why I should edit. Alright. But anyways. Sorry for the interruptions. But alright, there's 76. So this is a demand zone. Rally. Basing. Look at this basing candle. Boom. And a rally. I could say we did break out of supply, but I don't know necessarily. We'll see how it goes intraday. If it still rejects. As far as I can tell right now, we are rejecting on it. But at the same time, something's telling me that we broke it already and we just gotta wait for 4391 up here. But let's see how this demand zone acts intraday. So that's it. And then to the right of me, I have Bookmap. Adds confirmation to my zones. Honestly, it's very, very helpful. 4350. There's still heavy orders at 4350, so it's marking in my demand zone. 4345 as well. It's also in the supply zone. My bad, supply. It's in the supply zone. These heavy resting orders are still waiting to be filled in the supply zone. Because at the end of the day, these zones are zones that market makers or institutions have not fully filled, and price is just returning back to him to fill. On paper, that's what it says. And then the best way to trade it is wait for confirmation. If you're able to find zones that match with price action, that's beautiful. Fortunately enough, my zones have been matching up with price action as well, and I'm grateful for that, honestly. Because I do not trade the middle. I only trade supply and demand now. It's probably the best way to trade, in my opinion. Price action, supply and demand, and volume. I don't really rely on the 50 or 200, but the best way to trade it is still trade between these levels. Do not trade between a supply or demand. Do not enter. Enter when you're in an imbalance zone. Because why would you want to enter when there's balance? Thing called theta and options. So be careful with that when trading supply and demand. I do not recommend on entering any trades during what's it called? Dang, I lost my train of thought. All right, well, as you can see, price is heading towards demand zone, and then on 43.20 we have 156 contracts on ES waiting to be filled. And luckily enough, that's in the demand zone. I did not need Bookmap to find my zones, but you could use Bookmap to find your zones because they are resting pivot orders. It's the same thing, but I use them to find candles. I use to find, no. I use candlesticks to find my zones, and then I use Bookmap for confirmation. And as you can see, sellers are still adding on to each other. The sellers are putting in a lot of pressure. Could be an algorithm. One way to tell algo with Bookmap is having this kind of background right here. It's not really smooth. A lot of orders being placed and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. It's algos. What you really want to see on Bookmap is these big resting orders being waiting to be filled intraday. Look at this one. I believe we will reach to 43.20 and then we will reverse to 43.50. Let's see. I see 43.07 as well with 137 resting orders waiting to be filled. It from my experience, the more heavy resting orders, up or down, that's the price direction we go to. And for as I can tell right now, we are gonna have a red day. But it is yet to be 8:30, and when it's 8:30, that's when institutions, market makers start placing orders. You can really see it. The thing I love about historical Bookmap because of its historical data, historical order book. This is all historical. If I was just reading the tape, I would only be able to see the current order book. It's this times and sales, level 2 situations like that. What I love about Bookmap is it just adds confirmation. I do not really use it, but it does add confirmation to my convictions, and it has been working for me greatly. I barely started implementing it to my trades on February last month, and wow, do I tell you, it's just the whole game changer. It's a whole game changer to your trading regime. Anyways, well, I think that's the end of the video. If you have any questions, please don't feel afraid to ask. This channel is just being used to be able to spread my knowledge, what I've gained from the markets. It's just almost like a diary because honestly, I'm going to be looking back on all these videos. I'm going to be uploading trade recaps and see how my thought process works. See if my intuition gets better. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and leave a like if it interested you, and leave a comment. Thanks so much and have an amazing day.